Hello and welcome to PlayStation Access. My name's Rob, and in this video we're running through another top 10 list. You know, the videos where we deliberately leave off your favourite game, the one you actually consider more of a family member. Yes, we did it on purpose. No, we're not sorry. This time it's strategy and simulation games. They're a greedy bunch, this lot, drilling into our psyches so deep they don't just book all our actual gaming time, they're even there when you're doing all the bits in between gaming as well, or life as some people call it.
Hey everyone, just taking a look at the week ahead. It's a pretty simple week, I think. Ash, you're on the store video writing the weekly update today. There's also plus information which is going to be coming later on this week.
Gandhi's got all the city-states, so I can't use those to farm science. But if I manage to build Angkor Wat before King Pedro, I'll be able to boost my population enough to build another science district. And then...
Is that okay, Rob?
Sorry, what was the question? Anyway, let's get on with it. Angkor Wat isn't going to build itself. Presented, as always, in no particular order, here are 10 of the best strategy and simulation games on PlayStation. City Skylines is our first entry, the game that says, go on then, you're always moaning about how bad all the road systems and car parks are, why don't you have a go at designing them? And while I'm 100% convinced a private strip of tarmac leading directly from my house to the access office, punctuated by the odd Dr. Pepper shop or three, would be an excellent thing for everyone, what City Skylines tells me is that maybe it wouldn't, and maybe I shouldn't be put in charge of top-level civil engineering projects, or indeed allowed anywhere near them, because it turns out there's actually quite a lot to think about when you build a home for thousands of people, and it's this staggering detail that makes City Skylines a one-off, a unicorn in the whole tinkering with things on a grand scale genre that does its best to simulate all the complexity of a modern city, and that is a wondrous thing to immerse yourself in. How will the emergency services get around, and can they reach every neighbourhood in good time? How do you afford the upkeep costs of all the public roads you build? What's the fire safety rating of that suburb you just built? No, don't put an intersection there. Is your wind farm generating enough? Where's the nearest hospital? Running low on funds. Right, that's it, scrap all this. I'm just going to build a city that makes a portrait of Dave's face from above. It's Civilization 6 next, the game that boils all of human history down to a turn-based strategy campaign you can get through in one weekend, but somehow still doesn't feel like it's skimmed over anything. One of many things I really like about Civilization 6 is how it feels right at home on a controller. It's like sitting back in a comfy old chair and pouring yourself a stiff glass of Sean Bean.
When you find yourself in a hole, quit digging.
Being so rich in historical details, half the fun in Civ is watching when it gets it all wrong. You know, like when Germany founds Confucianism, or Rome becomes part of the USA after a bloody battle between George Washington and Julius Caesar.
Oh, look, Gandhi's launched a nuke. Oh, classic Gandhi.
Civ 6, like the rest of the series, makes a toy box of humanity's ascent. Its varied win conditions and even its remixable histories encourage players to engage with big-picture ideas about philosophy and progress, the how and the why of being alive. At least that's how I feel until I lose, and then it's more like,
oh, shut up, Civ! As if that would ever happen.
Next is The Sims 4. For anyone not already familiar, what you do in The Sims 4 is make a version of yourself, or rather a happier, leaner, less tired-looking version of yourself. That's right, get rid of those bags under there, increase smile by 17%. And then slowly, by making sure these bars are filled up and carrying out little wishes that pop into your Sim's head, you make their life absolutely amazing. For example, Sims Rob is an astronaut who earns 10,000 simoleons a day. His toilet probably cleans itself, he's got a pool outside his beautifully designed house, and he's fit as a fiddle thanks to all that exercise he somehow finds time for. Whereas real Rob is, not like that. But that's the brilliance of The Sims, isn't it? It takes place in this magical other world where you're in complete control of your life. A world where everyday stresses can be swatted away with the press of a button. A world which, ultimately, is a relaxing escape from the real one, where all those things aren't quite so easy. Next up, you could be forgiven for thinking running a hospital doesn't sound like much fun. But let's be absolutely clear about the kind of ailments your patients will be complaining of in 2 Point Hospital. Light-headedness, pandemic, and Mockstar, which should have been mercury poisoning, surely. The point is, it's not exactly ER on the realism front, and it's all the better for it. Like its spiritual ancestor, Theme Hospital, 2 Point Hospital wants to fill your healthcare facility with as many visual gags as it possibly can, while you balance the books, building, researching, and treating an ever-expanding roster of unusual conditions. Nail all that, and eventually you'll move on to bigger hospitals with more square footage and higher capacities. And as long as you remember to build toilets and maintain the crisps machines properly, you'll soon find yourself in the end game, sitting back and watching your perfectly functioning hospital just play itself. Until there's an outbreak of ghosts. In which case, phone on silent, cancel all plans, shift into sitting forwards on edge of sofa mode, which you can now do with added DLC expansions as well, thanks to the recently released 2 Point Hospital Jumbo Edition, which throws aliens and growing your own food into the ever-increasing collection of curveballs you're juggling. Lovely. Next up is Planet Coaster, and building roller coasters has been an oddly specific staple of management games since the olden days when consoles were made from lolly sticks and elastic bands. But to be honest, despite its decades-old DNA, Planet Coaster feels more like it's been shipped in from the future. Yes, you can make track layouts that are basically torture devices and spend a lazy Sunday watching tourists deeply regret ever having turned up at your park, but with a toolkit this sophisticated, it'd also be a bit of a shame not to play it properly too. You know, you've got ghost train rides where you get to curate every second of a nervous little punter's journey through their own nightmares. Adventure rides where you're exploring an ancient tomb at speeds that I'm pretty sure would snap a neck if this were real life. Even seemingly small and simple rides have a depth to them that anyone who's lost a weekend trying to build Westeros in Minecraft will just plunge into. And while there is a really strong management aspect here, the real joy is in building an experience, something that hundreds of pretend people will come to visit and pay money for every day. Whoever thought to blend time-honoured JRPG series Dragon Quest with crafting, city building and farming deserves an actual award, because the idea certainly never crossed our minds until Dragon Quest Builders showed up fully formed in 2016 with all the pomp and confidence of a game that knew exactly how good it was. And then when Dragon Quest Builders 2 arrived in 2019, throwing 4-player online co-op into the mix, and generally just improving on its critically acclaimed predecessor in almost every aspect, let's just say I was as pleasantly surprised as the first time I put both peanut butter and jam in a sandwich and took that first bite. Because this mix of iconic JRPG with all its character and colour and story and Minecraft-style resource gathering and building just works. And not just that, the two genres blend so seamlessly and with such warmth and charm that after playing Dragon Quest Builders 2, you'll be left wondering why no one has done this before. It feels every inch a Dragon Quest game, the vibrancy, the humour, the distinct art style and lovable monsters, while at the same time offering a deeply satisfying crafting system that'll have you dreaming up grand plans for future settlements long after you put down the pad. While other city builders might occasionally feature a bit of mild panic as you manage resources and keep your metropolis thriving, none of them can touch the grim relentlessness of Frostpunk. This against-the-odds planner sees you marshalling a flinty stock of survivors battling through a meteorological apocalypse, passing draconian laws and clawing resources from the frozen earth to stave off desperate insurrection. Why is this happening? Well, the world's gone wrong here, clearly. Humanity is on its knees, and Mother Earth could not give two Twister lollies about you. You can't even get Twister lollies anymore. Just coal and steel-flavoured snow, and food that's raw until you figure out how to build a cookhouse, which, it turns out, was exactly 1 day longer than my survivors were willing to wait before sending me out to die in the cold. So it's bleak, but with the right mix of strategy and firm but steady leadership, it can get better. It's hard but not impossible to take your handful of weary refugees and your shanty town built around an all-important generator and to slowly claw back some sense of society. The dilemmas you face are awful. For example, would you like to cure illness with a manic spree of amputations, or to let the sick convalesce indefinitely while burning through your precious coal? Would you like life to be really horrible for everyone, or really horrible for everyone, and at the same time ban birthdays? Yes, the faces of the people you worked to death in the icy mines will pop back into your head last thing at night, but they really feel like your people, your decisions, and your society. And that is what keeps you ploughing on through the uncaring snow in a game that's as much about atmosphere as it is about strategy. XCOM 2 is next on our list of brilliant strategy and simulation titles, and it joins The Sims 4 on the Mount Rushmore of games where you create you and your mates and laugh at all the silly things you can do. Only instead of watching me panic about being on time at the airport or Ash burning some eggs, you're watching me panic after a sectoid attack. No, please no! And Ash tearing Dave's body to pieces with her cannon while being mind-controlled. Set 20 years after alien killjoys took over Earth, on one level, XCOM 2 is about the dramatic change of pace from planning and research in your custom-built base to the palm-ruining tension of actual fights. And it's that switch-up which really holds your attention. You're not just watching a battle, you're watching months of preparation play out. But XCOM 2's best bit is that by appealing to your vanity and letting you make a team out of you and your friends, it becomes a story generator with heroes, casualties and cowards. You'll always hope it'll be you that nails that battle-saving sniper shot and saves the day, don't you? But you could just as easily wind up in a body bag, just another fallen comrade for everyone to laugh at.
Oh, Rob!
That would be so like you to get killed like that.
Sorry I shot you, Dave.
Oh, it's fine.
XCOM 2, everyone. As anyone who's been watching the glass of water in their car's cup holder will already know, it's Jurassic World Evolution next in our strategy game rundown. A gorgeous ecosystem sim and also a member of a very specific class of games. The ones where the temptation to do the exact opposite of what you're supposed to be doing grows stronger the longer you do it the right way. You know exactly what I mean. You build a lovely park for your guests, maybe a scenic lake just here surrounded by peaceful grazing herbivores, loads of really well thought out electric fences, and yes, some carnivorous dinosaurs, but seriously, you've really thought about the security here. So even though there are now hundreds of visitors in your park, there's absolutely no way they're all getting eaten by dinosaurs. And then, well, you let all the dinosaurs out, don't you? And they eat all the visitors. But who's to say whether that's winning or losing? This is your sandbox and your rules. Perhaps we should all keep that in mind next time we feel like passing judgment on John Hammond. Our final entry, Bad North, is what you'd get if you funneled the entire strategy genre into a distillery and boiled off everything but the absolute fundamentals. It's such a clean, instantly readable version of isometric war, a strategy game for people who aren't very good at strategy games. People like me. Credit also to developers' plausible concept for creating what have to be the cutest Viking raids and the most charming bloody battles I have ever seen. I mean, look at these little guys. I almost feel bad plunging arrows into the lot of them as they try and get at my island settlements. Almost. Because that's the goal in Bad North. You've got a series of islands to protect and a number of upgradable units with which to defend them. Archers, swordsmen, spearmen, etc. With gameplay revolving around selecting a unit and then pointing where you want them to go. Simple enough that anyone can jump in and play, but with enough depth to the upgrade system that strategy aficionados will keep coming back for more. So there you go, the top 10 best strategy and simulation games on PlayStation. Do you agree with our choices, or have we left out your favourite? Let us know in the comments, give us a like if you enjoyed the video, and don't forget to click that notification bell so you're always up to date with everything from the world of PlayStation. Thanks for watching, we'll catch you again soon.
PlayStation